Hello everyone, I'm Travis Chingo here with Tom Quinn, the founder of Healthways Foundation. Today we're talking about energy and matter. So Tom, first question, how does a consideration of the relationship of energy to matter figure into a discussion on human health?
Well, to understand a relationship and the importance of energy and matter to human health, you've got to go down to the cellular level to understand health. We have to take a look at the structure of the cell. There's over 1 trillion of these things in our body, and they live a very harmonic life. They deliver to us a measure of health. If you're good to them, they'll be very good to you. And as such, in this community, they communicate with each other. I mean, from top to bottom, whatever happens to one cell is understood by the others. So it's a very, very harmonic relationship, and it's something we need to understand, because it's at that level that energy becomes important. And food being matter, how does that end up as energy? So we need to take a look at the cell and understand its structure, and that's why that takes us to that level. The cell itself, if you take a look at it, has a membrane around it. And while science at one time thought that membrane, which housed the nucleus inside, was the skin of the cell, and the nucleus was the brain, they've long since discovered that's not true. The cellular membrane is really an intelligent factor. It's an intelligence. It has millions of receptors on it. Those receptors are penetrating apparations inside the cellular membrane. And it is at that level that the communications of an energetic nature take place between the environment of the cell and the cell itself. So the cell is waiting for energy transfer from the outside to the inside to tell it what to do. So it's at that level we need to understand health, because cells make us up and give us our health, and it's energy that they use, transferred from the outside of themselves to the inside, to give them the message they need to do that for us. So it's at that level we need to understand energy, matter, and health.
Okay, how does a discussion on overall human health require understanding the effect of energy at the cellular level?
Well, as we discussed it, the cells are dependent upon energy. And let's take a look at what that means. The molecule, which is referred to in science as the currency of life, is adenosine triphosphate. That's conveniently labeled ATP. Triphosphate means in an atom of adenosine, you've got added to it 3 phosphate molecules or atoms. These phosphates attach to this and give it an energetic nature, very reactionary energetic nature. The ATP is derived from ADP, which has a diphosphate or only 2, which comes from AMP, which has only 1. So as they grow through this process, by adding 1 more atom of phosphate to the structure, they grow in volatility. And it's ATP which is used inside the nucleus of the cell to give energy that gives life to the cell. When the nucleus of the cell in the mitochondria cleaves off one of those phosphate atoms, you end up with energy supply for life in the cell. That's how energy is given to the cells that give you life. So we look at energy transfer within the cellular structure. So we see that cells are dependent on energy for their life. Then when we look at the matter, we look at what Einstein discovered, and that was that energy is really equal to a given amount of mass or matter taken in speed to the speed of light squared, which is 34.6 billion miles per second. When you take a given amount of matter and send it at that speed, it completely transforms into energy. That let us understand in science why, when we thought the atom was the smallest particle, we then discovered that we weren't looking at a particle. We were looking at electrons and neutrons and protons. They were the smallest particles. But then we discovered that they weren't really particles either. They were made up of things smaller yet, quarks and then leptons and neutrinos and bosons and boson is supposed to be able to pass through Earth and never hit a thing because it's that small. So as we continue to go on, we continue to see that Newtonian materialistic physics has truly been replaced by quantum physics. E does equals mc squared. We all are energy. Energy is very much a part of everything. We are just expressed in a different way and see it as physical, but it really isn't. It's energy. So we have to understand that nature, and we have to understand that nature delivered into our cells, cleaved apart as ATP, giving us energy, so that we come to understand that energy has a very basic part of the human nature and the human biochemistry. In fact, science now knows that even willful mental force, the power of your thoughts, has a biochemical reaction inside your body. So force of mentality is actual energy that has a component for health. So if we don't understand health as energy at the cellular level, we've missed everything about what we really are made up of.
Wow. That's incredible. Explain how matter is really just energetic fields.
Well, if you go through the atomic chart, you'll see that as they add different sizes of atoms to things, then we begin growing in the kinds of structures that we have. So when you take a look at atomic structure, you're looking at really just energy matrices. The addition of additional energy into a field changes its structure. If I add additional energy into an atom structure, I change it electrically and physically. I mean, let's take a look at water. Water is H2O. That's its chemical structure. H2O. We've got two atoms of hydrogen attached to one atom of oxygen. If I add one more atom of oxygen, I have H2O2. Well, I've gone from water, which is incredibly vital for human life, to hydrogen peroxide, which will kill you if you drink it. So you've got toxicity now in a highly more reactionary substance because I've added what? Additional electrical matrices into an already established electrical matrix, which changed its physical and electrical properties. So that's how matter really is just electrical fields. We're just adding and subtracting electrical matrices, the power of electrical energy, into an equation to change completely what it does. Food, matter, we take in and our bodies start the cleaving process through enzymatic reactions that give us these energy fields. Taken down into the cellular level, as we discussed with ATP, you can see what takes place. We actually have the energy given to us for life. And when you look at H2O, water, being changed into something you can't even tolerate by adding one single atom of oxygen, I ask you, what have they done to food when you look at it on the shelf and one brand says sour cream and that's the only ingredient? The one sitting next to it that's 50 cents cheaper reads like a chemical experiment and is a paragraph long. How many atoms have they put into that matrices? They have changed that food. It is no longer understood the same way by your body, or is it dealt with in the same fashion. So unless we truly understand life as energy at the cellular level, we miss the point that that 50-cent savings was not a savings at all.
Sure. Excellent. Well, fascinating information, Tom. Energy and understanding energy is really important for your health.
Critical.
Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. That's all for now. We'll see you next time.